Hey, it's Aaron the Ho, and here's a few things that we've had to go through with the Mojo Aqua Refuel Battery case by iBattz. But hey, here we go.
So we will leave this case submerged in this tank.
Because this is mildly ridiculous.
Have to just push on that ridge at the bottom. And there's 7 elements or pieces to this case.
Real usage, real reviews. mobilereviews.ca. So the biggest selling feature about this iBattz case is that it provides, according to them, ultimate outdoor protection, and it does offer you a 2200 milliamp battery. So that is basically a little over 100% extra battery power for your iPhone 5 or 5S. In addition to that extra power, you get 4 feet of shock protection as well as 10 feet of water protection for up to 24 hours. That's one of the very few cases that actually claim that, and there's actually no way we can test it. Last thing I will say about the Mojo Refuel Aqua Battery case is that it is modular. And so in this hand, I've got the slim module, so it's just like a plastic bumper that's attached to the battery case. And then in this hand, if I was to take it all apart and put it together, this would be the waterproof and shockproof version. Being able to interchange between, going out at night and going out for a really long night with your extra battery, or going swimming or doing something by water, being able to interchange all those parts is a very neat idea. Now, we do feel that this case tries to do too many things at once. So if you're looking for extra battery power in a rugged environment, then we may suggest that you go with a rugged case and a spare battery pack. Now, we do have a Snow Lizard SLX coming our way, and so that might be another alternative to this entire setup. Now, we don't speak very highly about this case. I am sure there is a use case where this case would be very, very useful. The only one that I can come to think of is if you're fly fishing out by the equator where there's sunlight for like 14 hours and you're not planning on going anywhere near a power outlet. This might work for you, but other than that, I'm not quite sure where I would use this case in this entire setup. Now, before we get into the itty-gritty details about this case, I will say that for the majority of the things that I'll be talking about, it will be using the waterproof and shockproof configuration. We look at the design, the protection, and the functionality of the case. And so in the description section below, we've got a table of contents that has timestamps for those 3 different sections, so you can easily jump to whatever section that you're interested in. Annotations on the screen will also do the same thing. So let's get started. In terms of design, this is a very large case. It is almost 2.5 times the thickness of an iPhone, and it adds quite a bit of weight to it. Again, there is an extra battery in it, which is probably why it's actually not probably why, it is why it's so much heavier than your stock iPhone. In terms of the ease of installation, we actually struggled very hard when we were doing the unboxing video because we didn't know, there's no latches, there's no nothing. We didn't know that you had to shove a fingernail into this crevice and peel back as hard as you possibly can. The instructions for the installation process is actually inside the case, so you have to figure out how to open the case, and we couldn't find anything on the internet, so it was incredibly frustrating, like how I am describing it now. I'm talking so fast to describe to you how disturbing it was for us to uninstall this case. Now, it doesn't get any better because once you got your case installed, you still got to try to get your fingernail in between the crevice and try to pry everything apart. Now, the only saving grace is that the minimalistic plastic bumper for the slim version of the battery case, that's really easy to pull apart. You put your fingernail in and you pull it apart. Easy peasy. So if you plan on carrying around the entire setup of the iBattz Mojo Aqua Refuel Battery case, you better have some pretty big pockets because this will not look natural in your pockets. In terms of the build quality of this case, the slim piece, this part, isn't too bad. Mind you, it is hard plastic, and we feel that if we were to drop it, it might shatter. In terms of the build quality of the kind of waterproof, shockproof shell, the screen protector scratches incredibly easily, which is really annoying. Now, the last thing we will add about the build quality about this case is that you're not going to drop this out of your phone. It's very grippable. This outer shell for the waterproofing setup is very rubbery, and it's kind of got a soft rubbery texture on the back of the battery case, though it does scratch quite easily, as I've just permanently scratched the back of this case just doing this video. In terms of protection, this case is shockproof as well as being waterproof. For the shock protection, it says 4 feet, and we're guessing that's because there's an extra battery in it, and the height that you can drop it from is a little lower than other cases. But we did drop it, and the phone and the case stayed together. We still got the battery connected to the phone, and it still all worked. In terms of water protection, iBattz told us that it's waterproof up to 10 feet for 24 hours. There's almost no way we can test that because renting a pool is quite expensive. We did put this case into a bucket of water and left it for 24 hours, and the tissue inside the case didn't get wet. Now, we didn't put an actual phone into it because we're just not that comfortable with installing a waterproof case that just requires us to pack plastic into other plastic. That's just one of the things that we're not too sure about with this case. In terms of screen protection, it's plastic. We dropped it, nothing happened. The only thing we'll say again is that it scratches really easily. Now, this case takes a hit in terms of scoring for the functionality of the iPhone inside this case. Accessing the mute switch and the volume buttons and the sleep button, pretty easy. Getting to the home button, this is a little stiffer than I like, and it is not Touch ID compliant. Now, in terms of sound, being able to hear your voicemails or your voice calls is really easy. Now, we did notice a bit of mumbling, you know, kind of when the Charlie Brown parents talk, the wow, 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 wow. That sort of happens when you do voice calls with this case, so just be aware of that. In terms of accessing the screen, well, you've got the screen protector, and there is no problem. You can access everything on your touchscreen quite easily, except for the command center at the bottom. The edges are really high, and so if you're just used to swiping up with your thumb, you wouldn't be able to do that with this case. The only way I could do it with my case was to turn my index finger sideways, mash it into this corner, and swipe up. Then I was able to get to the command center. Accessing the notification center is easy because, well, the plastic extends past the touchable area at the top of the phone, so you can get to anything there. In terms of screen viewability, this screen protector isn't flush. It doesn't sit flat against the touchscreen, so it's kind of wobbly. So all the reflections that you see are kind of wobbly, and that really takes away from the Retina screen of your iPhone 5 or your 5S. And also, it scratches incredibly easy. Again, it really takes away from the Retina screen of your iPhone 5 and 5S. That is basically the entire waterproof setup. I will talk about the slim part a bit. Now, the slim part isn't too bad. It does feel pretty solid. Everything snaps in quite well. But between this and a Mophie juice pack or a Helium pack, we would go with the Mophies. The Mophies feel much tighter than this iBattz battery setup with the slim bumper. So, with all things considered, we gave this case a score of 3.6 out of 5. It's not a great case. Now, I am sure it does serve a purpose in certain instances, but I think most of the time you'll be able to get away with an extra battery pack or an extra cable or a car kit or an extra battery pack with a waterproof case. There's a lot of ways I think you can accomplish the same thing without having to deal with this case. Now, again, we do have a Snow Lizard SLX5 or something coming our way, so do check back as we're going to put this case and that case, and we're going to see which one comes out on top. That one is solar powered. How cool is that? If this is the first time you're watching one of our videos, I do encourage you to click subscribe, as we do one accessory review every single week. So we create a series of videos for one accessory. If you have any questions about this case, leave them in the comments section below. If you do have this case and you like it, please tell us why. If you have this case and you don't like it, also please tell us why, because we'd like to know so that we can help other people out. Find us on Twitter, as our Twitter account just spews out all the discounts that we get from the affiliates that we are linked to. Find us on Facebook. You can ask us questions there, and do check out the Google Plus page, because Google Plus is making a comeback, and we post all our daily updates to that channel, so that if you do have a question about whatever we're filming, we'll try to answer it in the video. I'm Aaron the Ho. I'm a reviewer at mobilereviewsa.ca, and, well, have fun trying to say this case name, because it's the Mojo Refuel Aqua Battery case by iBattz. Thanks for watching. The Mojo Aqua Refuel Battery case by iBattz. That's the right name, right? Oh.